Good morning and welcome back to the Opportunistic Trader for Friday, December 21. A triple expiration day, very, very quiet, surprisingly eerily quiet. They ran the S&P 25 handles after the close. Last night they came in, but right now they're pretty much unchanged. And again, as Vince and I have discussed, another up opening for the markets. Even though the S&P is showing down 2, it's really up basically 15. So that's up 15. The Dow is up over 100. And once again, we have them buying the opening, which we discussed multiple times will not be the bottom. The bottom will be when we come in 50, 30, 20, whatever lower, and basically people are panicking and prices get out of whack. That's not to say we may not bounce, and we could bounce today. We are oversold on a short-term basis, but these openings are horrible. But today may be associated with triple witching. You know, they're going to jam job up the market, you know, try to get some of the money back that they lost. But I will tell you, I went out to dinner and I was in a venue where there were hundreds of people, and people are wounded out there. They're freaking out. And it's funny to me that we're in this and the market is only down 6% for the year, but people are freaking out like they were in 08, 09. Actually, they didn't freak till 09, but 09. And it's funny, on a 6% down year, they're freaking out. So we believe, and we've believed this whole time, there's more to come on the downside. I'm not saying today. I actually think, you know, today I would have liked to have bought them if they were down, but right now the S&P is going green at 830, which is Dow showing up about 150, and the S&P is 15 higher. So it is an up opening again. Don't like to buy that. Today could be a relief day in general. S&P just turned green, which is shocking after being down 20 handles last night. I guess they, liked whatever was coming out, but I don't see stocks rallying too much. Apple up 89 cents, Facebook up 70 cents, Netflix up $2, Amazon's up 19. It's funny though, people were crying last night at dinner when I was out to dinner, that they were like, oh my God, Amazon's 1,400. I'm getting killed. I'm like, well, it's up 25% for the year. How are you getting killed? But somehow people have been buying these names all year, and they are getting killed. Goldman Sachs is 167 some change. These stocks are obliterated. Micron is $31. Overall, markets look okay for this morning, but I think there's going to be some whippy action after the triple expiration on the opening. We expect the market to sell off here, but again, it's oversold, so wouldn't sell this level by any means, but would like to see a lower opening to culminate a bottom. Somehow they're buying them hard, so I guess they have stock to buy on the opening. I think we can get a look at that off the floor in a little bit, but we're expecting, a little bit of a relief rally. Crude oil is probably the better buy. It's down again for the 90th straight day at 45.40.
Larry, what about triple witching coming up? Any opportunities there?
I don't see a lot today. There was, the straddles were taken in pretty good. We'll look at the straddle right now around the futures. They're trading. The straddle's $7.50, so they're pricing in a bit of an up opening from here, but there's the 85 straddle is $8, so we're trading at 88, so it's worth 3. So there's 5 in it. There's really no trades, so I see no trades. I thought the trade would be to sell this and potentially buy the back, but I don't like an up opening to do that. So right now we're going to sit on our hands and watch from the sidelines and see how the day goes. If we do not hold today, if we go back down 30, it's actually 40 handles right now, which I don't expect. It could get pretty crazy out there, but right now the market is pretty much bid. It's been bid since I got in this morning. It was down about 15 handles when I got in, and now it's positive $1.75, which doesn't seem like a lot, but the implied opening is almost 200 Dow points and 17 S&P points, even more now because we're ripping again. So I guess they have stock to buy on the opening, and we'll see what happens. But maybe now the better trade is to sell that and to buy potentially the second month, because they might print it up. But we'll see. Overall, not a lot to talk about. Foreign markets are down as usual. The Nikkei hit a year low. The Hang Seng hit a year low. The DAX hit a year low. The FTSE hit a year low. The CAC hit a year low. So everything is on the year low, and those are not bouncing. We're bouncing significantly more. So that being said, I don't really have a lot to add. Stocks are up across the board. Apple's now up $1.25. They're going to jam job the print this morning. What I mean by that is just print at a price on the upside that we probably haven't seen here, and then I would think that the market would get weak at some point. Relative to timing, volatility is 28. It got up to 30 yesterday, which is pretty high, but volatility is still a short. I think it will come in. It's only down 2% with a reversal of 25 SPU handles, but I think that it can't sustain these levels, and that's what I see. I don't know if, Vince, you have anything to add this morning. You with me, Vince?
Hello?
You with me?
Yeah, I'm here. Do you hear me?
I hear you perfectly. I was asking if you had anything
I'm just
to
having
add.
a little bit of background noise on my side. I'm in a rainstorm over here. Basically, the only thing I can add to that, and bring us back to active trades and levels, is what we discussed in the gold fix is really completely relevant to what we're discussing now, or to what you brought up now, and that is drivers of the market. The drivers of the market today, I think more than many days, are event related. For example, triple witching hour. You have the threat of a government shutdown, which is dragged on a little bit longer. I had dismissed this a couple of days ago, but it's come back to, I think, bite the market in the butt. You have the other drivers in the market would be, as we've seen, end of year cash flows out of stocks, perhaps getting out of stocks and getting out of stocks more. Now you have some shorts coming in. Another driver in the market, geopolitical things. And when we talk about politics, it has to be said, politics is policy, and policy affects markets. So, Mattis' resignation, what that does to markets, I don't know, and I don't care, but it does something to markets, and those are going to give me levels that I'm going to trade off of. Now, in the gold fix, I see potential levels today, which is very rare in gold, for the very short-term active trades that my system can give. So the point is, with the convergence of all these events, I'm scared to do anything, because it's not continuous; it just happens. But I do see, ignoring that there are events in the world and not thinking intuitively, which is something that has to be done even with the system. I have levels that I'd like opinions on, and your opinion specifically. And then we can also joke about the conversation we had yesterday. We almost had that moment. But for me, after the first hour today, I see above 1291 as a level to buy on an hourly settlement, and below 2466 as a level to sell on an hourly settlement. And those numbers could just as easily be, and you and I have traded counter each other actually this type of way. As the market's going through 1266, I'll be selling it, looking to take 5 handles out of it in an hour. Meanwhile, you're buying it at 1262, looking to take 10 handles out of it the other way 3 hours from now. Do you see any levels you think that not necessarily you will act on, but as potential inflection points? And would you advise trading any specific way given potential events
I,
that
you
are
know, I
on the
think
table?
I think that this opening up is basically the triple witch, the jam up. I don't know why they're jamming them up. I thought they would actually jam them down, but that trade didn't work. And overall, I don't see anything. I'm trading not well. It's probably 90% in the books that we're not going to have a profitable month, which is the first one
Right.
that we've had since we started. So I want to sort of stay nimble. And as I say to, in my world, I'm a broken man right now. I can't really see the tape too well. I'm looking.
Well, I mean, it's really hard if you're an active trader, and I'm saying this to subscribers in the audience. Active traders like volatility as opposed to trend. And let's face it, we have had, especially if you're an options person, you understand this. We have had trend, we've had volatility, but active traders like volatility. Volatility means 2% moves intraday unchanged on the day. But when you have trend, the market drops, and you say, okay, I want to sell and I'll wait for a bounce, and you can't get that bounce, or you get that bounce at 2 in the morning. It's really hard to play that. So I'm wondering if one of these events doesn't give us an opportunity. To your point, we're oversold, right, short term. So maybe we're going to get jammed higher with the witching hour, and maybe we'll have some positive hope on government shutdown stuff,
Well,
and that might be the level to fade, because I think we're short term oversold, and I think we still have more to go on the downside. So maybe we're going to get the bounce that allows us to take a position and take 5-10 handles out of it to sell intraday. I don't know. That's me trying to put myself in your head as looking for triggers for a reason to sell.
yeah, I don't
Kind of
have
like buy the
any.
rumor, sell the
I
news.
don't have any triggers. I look at the equities and they don't look so good, but the market's somehow up 200 points. So I don't know. What really to look at. It's interesting. I'm watching crude oil. It's trading. It's so computerized, this trading, especially on these commodities like oil. I'm watching it. It literally looks like a video game. It's like trading and shaking. I mean, I feel the screen is shaking. It's kind of bizarre. But S&P's up 250. The Dow is up 175 points. The S&P is basically 20 over cash, and that's a lot. So we're going to have a big up opening, even though it looks like we're not. And I don't see a trade. Goldman's the
Right.
only thing red on my board. I wonder if there's news out
So
there
it
on
really could
Goldman.
be. I mean, it's Friday too, right? Friday follies, or the more profane version of that. But Fridays, we've seen in the past, not always, but it's something we have to factor in, that Fridays can be trend reversal days because people want to be flat for the weekend. And this is me talking, and I want your opinion on it. Considering that I think we're oversold in the short term, considering the concepts you talked about, and considering that I actually think that even though the market is a bias lower longer term, I don't believe that we've hit a bottom yet. Short players or short algos or short side players are still less less capitalized than buy and hold, and or buy and lie to themselves and hold. And on a Friday, I could see a short who's made some money this week saying, "I'm going to cover." We could have a nice, opening up higher, maybe a slight dip that gets some shorts into it, and then a real rip higher today. Then that would be my coin flip trade, and obviously flexible as the market goes on. But that's what I'm looking at. I wanted to know what your thoughts were.
My thoughts are that we're not going to hold up, and we potentially, on the last day of the year, could go out on the low of the year, wherever that will be. Today, I don't really have an opinion. I would have liked to have bought a down opening here, but that's not going to happen. I'm surprised that we're up. I don't see anything really up. I mean, the DAX is down a little bit, but overall, there's nothing really to cue off of here. I don't see. Stocks are up small across the board. I'm going to wait and see what happens. There's no trades to be done in the indexes. The straddle is $7 or $6.50. There's zero here. So we'll wait till after the opening. Maybe crude oil's a buy and bonds are a sell. Bonds just going up and up and up. So to me, that's not bullish. But again, I'm not sure. I ran into a real estate broker last night, and it was interesting. They know that I'm in the market, and they were like, "Oh man, this is really bad for us. We're losing all our buyers." And I'm like, "Oh my God!" On a 10% correction off an all-time high, people don't want to buy a house. So I think the market's very skittish out there. It's it's an interesting place to play. Currencies look interesting here as well. The dollar is still maintaining heavy strength against pretty much everything. The dollar was weak a little bit, but I don't see anything here. So I'm relying on you today, Vince. Take us home. I need your help. Vince, you with me? I don't know where Vince is, so I guess I'm solo here.
No.
Oh, there you are.
It's just I really am. I'm really actually in a rainstorm here. Thank God it's not snow, and my windows are getting pelted. I didn't hear the last thing you said.
I said I don't have any good ideas. I need your help. Bring us home with some ideas because I don't really have any. I said the dollar reversed yesterday's action. It looks strong again. It had one day of weakness, but I don't see anything. My thought is that this is the worst opening you can have. An up opening of 150 to 200 Dow points, a failure through negative could result in lows of the move. But again, I guess when are they taking the vote on this government
I don't know, but I think the vote by the time whatever the vote comes out, it may be moot to the point of buy the rumor, sell the news type of stuff, because there'll be headlines before then that will move markets. And it's like Friday 8 p.m. I think. I'm not really sure the exact time, but
what time?
There's going to be a temporary. What the House passed last, and it will not.
I understand, but I think they said they're voting on it in a couple of hours. So I don't know what that means in a couple of hours when they vote on it. Does that mean we're shut down? Does that mean there's another vote? I'm not really in tune with what exactly the process is. So I don't know if you guys are.
I think the expectation is that there will be a temporary shutdown. Maybe they vote again tomorrow, and so based on what passed last night.
Okay. Yes. What?
But to your point about ideas, I'm just offering this as a person my ear is not to the ground. I'm looking at the things that I see, and it actually applies to gold too, in the opposite direction today. By the way, just very quickly in gold, from a technical point of view, we're at a level that's important below 1262. From the technical discipline of one person, that's the market is overbought, and below 1262 it's a sale. From a technical discipline of another person using a different system, it also coincides with that level. And my own system, which is not technical based, says that below 1260 gold is a sale. And so I looked at that, and I looked at all the drivers in gold, and I said, well, these are the same drivers in the stock market. So I look at the stock market, and lo and behold, although I don't have the technical levels, my own system says, we have a really good chance of momentum higher. Or put it this way, I have a great risk reward setup to risk one to make two if we settle above 1289 in the next hour, over the next hour and 7 minutes. When I look at that, my bias is, as an idea, is if you're a trend trader, I would be looking to possibly get long with a stop out in the about 10 handles below where I enter. Then I'd look to make 20. If you're a regression to the mean type of person, which I am to an extent, because that's how I take profits. I would look for a dip to buy, because I'm not bearish on the day for all the reasons cited. The potential for good news coming out from events. The fact that it's Friday, and I think shorts are even profitable shorts are weaker hands going into a weekend. I'm a buyer of momentum higher, and I'm a buyer of dips lower above certain levels, which have yet to be determined. So the only ideas I have are that from 1,000 feet up, and with one system, I think it's a strong day. That's starting out strong and will finish strong. I don't know what'll happen in the middle, but if I get a signal to sell gold, okay, and buy, and I get at the same hour a signal to buy the S&P at the same hour, I will forego the gold signal and go with the S&P signal because the S&P signal is going to be more efficient and stop me out if I'm wrong quicker, so I get a second bite at the apple. Those are my 2 cents for today. Of course, we could go lower, but I just think we're oversold, at least for the rest of this day. And I don't, what's the expression? I don't even know if it's true anymore. Bottoms never occur on Friday. Is there any truth to that, Larry?
I don't know. Maybe that's a myth. I'm not really sure, but I'm definitely not bullish in any way, and I'm just not bullish on the market. The market cannot do what it's doing, meaning it cannot just keep opening up every single day. It literally opens up every day. So until we have that big down opening, this is all what I would call hogwash. And
right. But we're not contradicting each other, because we're it's until we have that big up opening, really big up opening, or I'm sorry, really big down opening that people buy, which is the reverse of that time series algorithm we talked about yesterday. Then we don't have a longer, medium or long term bottom. But for the intraday trading today, I think it might be something worth buying. We do have a question from Bob in the chat, and I don't know, maybe Mike wants to take this. It's a chopped question, but he's thinking about the shutdown. Does the president have the power to veto the shutdown, Mike? If you know, I don't mean to put you on the spot. I'm just.
I don't think so.
It's Bob putting you on the
spot.
spot.
But I don't think so. I think, and he's already indicated he's ready to shut the government for a long time. So, it's Trump. I think the key news is this Mattis. I mean, I don't think in the history of our lifetime we've ever seen anything like this circus in the White House. It's unbelievable. It's actually unbelievable. So, I mean, they all think he's a clown and they can't work with him. So, yeah, people are leaving left and right. I think like pretty much 50 to 70 people have left positions there. Nobody could work with this guy. So I think that's a critical problem. And then when we get back after Christmas and New Year's, the House flips, so he's not going to have any control anymore. So, we'll have to see overall, how all these things play out. But, as far as vetoing, I don't think he can do it. Plus, I don't think he wants to. He doesn't have a problem with the shutdown. He wants his border wall. Meanwhile, it's funny. I was seeing he was okay with a slat, like putting slats in the wall. So I don't even know if that's a wall. I have no idea. I mean, this whole thing is crazy. But just looking back at stocks, I don't see stocks up that much. So I don't know how we're going to make this up 150-point opening or 130-point opening. I would think volatility would have been down more. It's not really down. So,
well, don't you say, and I'm sorry I'm speaking a little loud because my mic's not on, you typically triple witching day is always an interesting day with a lot of, I don't want to say the word games, but a lot of games right on the open. They're marking it up, and then potentially, like you said, the names themselves aren't actual X level.
Right, and then they slam them. But we'll see. And we'll have to wait and see today how this day plays out. Again, I feel like we're oversold, but on one hand, and on the other hand, we're having another up opening, and one of these times we're going to have a big down. So
this is also typically the time when there's not as much volume. I mean, we've got about 5 trading days left in the year, and a half day. So typically there are less players, less volume, less activity, but with all this volatility.
Yeah, but there's not a lot of days. Usually when we come out of triple expiration, there's at least 7 trading days, at least, maybe up to 10. And now we only have, 3.5 days? We have 3 full days and 2 half days. This year is in the books. They're going to try to save it and mark it, but it's not going to work. And I think we come back into January with heavy, heavy volatility and people, seeking shelter. The last day of this trading year should be very interesting as well. I think we'll see big for sale. I don't know, how much will go down off it, but I think that there'll be stock for sale. But that's what I see here. I don't really have much else. Oil, again, is the underperformer. It's getting crushed. The markets across the board. The Nikkei traded at 19,900. It's on the low. These are all the low ticks of the year. That's why it's amazing to me that the SPOO is already 1.5% off the low, and pretty much everything out there closed low tick. So we'll see. And I'm going to get ready for this triple expiration. I'm going to be in the chat. I don't know if you have any closing thoughts, Vince.
I think he's up.
Yeah, so Vince is gone. I apologize about that today.
Oh, I'm still here. I am having trouble hearing, though. I'm sorry.
Well, since you have trouble hearing, maybe everyone does. So we're going to wrap it up.
No,
Mike,
no,
you want to go over the schedule for today?
The schedule later today, we are going to have at 10:30, Alan Hill talking FX and Brexit. At 12 o'clock, CoQuest, who's been on with us before, they're going to be talking about CTA performance, what's been performing well, what has not been performing well, how they're positioned starting the new year, and just thoughts on CTA world. And then Mark Fisher is going to join us. I don't have the exact time yet. I believe at 1 o'clock. But he last time was talking about selling paper assets. That's what he was talking about, selling equities and bonds, and equity side. And in the proportion, it has worked well, but the equity side certainly has worked well. That's the schedule for now. We're also going to have some thoughts. Vince posted something which we're going to post about. Deutsche Bank posted 30 possible catalysts and headwinds for 2019. Go over those and talk about those on audio in a little bit. We'll be back to everybody shortly.
All right. Good luck, everyone.